we have to talk about Karl Towns. Because the Knicks disposed of in 6 games in the East Finals.
Yeah.
That night, The Athletic, some of your colleagues, some of my friends, Fred Katz, James Edwards, put together an article that basically said, look, Karl has had trouble adjusting to the way the Knicks play all season long. Remember, he was an acquisition right before training camp happened, days before training camp happened. He put up good numbers. He was arguably the most impactful player next to Jalen Brunson in the first round series, a matchup problem across the board, but clearly he struggled defensively in this series, especially in that high pick and roll. Do you see there being something where, DA, the Knicks and Karl are in a spot where Karl is who he is, and the Knicks are going to be stuck there? Or is this something that is something you can work around, considering the fact he's making $55, $56 million a year? He ain't going nowhere.
Right. That's the problem. You can't trade him. So nobody's going to take them. So I don't know that there's any move that can be made there. Brunson got hunted too. So it's not like their 2 best players are not great defensive players, and they got hunted. Indiana hunted them, throughout the series, and ultimately got enough that they were able to win the series. So I don't know that there's a move to be made, Vinny. I mean, I think Karl is who he is. He's been in the league for 10 years now. I don't see him becoming a defensive stalwart. You just kind of have to live with some of the silly fouls that he commits 30 feet from the basket. That's just part of who he is. But he's a really, really talented offensive player. So, they were in the Final Four. You can make an argument, a very strong one, that if they don't just gack game 1, they could be playing in the finals. It's not like they got destroyed by Indiana. They got beat. Indiana was a better team,
right?
But it wasn't by so much that you could say they have no chance of ever. It's the East, man. Come on, every good team in the East has a chance. If they get a break with the injuries, So that's what would concern me about the Knicks, is that they were relatively healthy throughout these playoffs.
Yes,
I know Karl had the knee late, and that impacted them, but for the most part, they were pretty healthy. And that's all I heard from Knicks fans after last year was, well, if we had been healthy, we would have killed the Pacers. Well, you were pretty healthy, and they kicked your butt.
Right. Right.
So having said that, though, I think I don't know how you don't just run it back you have to run it back. I think, if you want to bring in a vet on a minimum contract, I mean, I think they can do that. I think they're under the second apron, so they're in pretty good shape in that regard. So I think, other than that, though, I mean, they're pretty good. They were pretty good most of the season. And so I wouldn't even if you could make a trade, who would you trade him for? Milwaukee's not taking KAT for Giannis. Stop it.
No,
that's not happening.
No.
That's not happening. Unless Giannis says, I only want to go to New York, and if you don't send me to New York, I will leave in 2 years. Which doesn't sound like Giannis. He's not, I don't see him saying that. He may want to leave, but I don't think he's trade me to this place or no place else. So we could say, we'll find out, I guess, but if Milwaukee has any say in the matter, they're not doing that trade. Why would they do that trade? And New York just traded all the picks that they had for Bridges, so they don't have 5 firsts to give you anymore. So I don't think that there's a whole lot of trades out there for Karl-Anthony Towns that would make any sense for either the Knicks or the team trading for him.
Look, I think you brought up something important. For one, Jalen Brunson being hunted is an under-talked about aspect of all this because of how he performs offensively, because of the responsibility that he carries offensively, because of his mere size. You kind of accept, he's going to get hunted. But when you're 1 in your 5, or theoretically 1 in your 4.5, teams are going to 1-4, 1-5 flat. Let's pick and roll you all day. And if Brunson, they don't figure out a solution to that. I don't know if there is a solution to such a thing. Then you can't. I don't believe you can win in this NBA, not even this Eastern Conference, just this NBA. You cannot have a point of attack defender who's weak and a rim protector that's weak. I think that's just a flaw in team construction.
they just, I mean, Mitchell Robinson's their rim protector, and they went big.
Yeah.
You know, they made the adjustment in this series. I mean, Tibbs did everything. He played the bench. Like, I mean, all the things that people say Tibbs doesn't do, he did in this series, right?
Yep.
Like, and I'm not pro Tibbs, anti Tibbs. He's a good coach. You want to keep him, fine. You want to get rid of him, fine. It doesn't matter to me. But I think he made all the adjustments that you could ask a coach to make in this series, and it still wasn't enough, you know? And I don't know, like, you can't ask a guy to be something he's not. Karl's not a rim protector. He's never been a rim protector. It's not what he does. Like, he's not a great defensive player. He could help himself by not committing the silly fouls.
You mean the Sheila E. Bongos that he's doing on people all the time?
That's the one thing that Karl could do. Coverages, all that other stuff, you know, he may not be able to change that. But what he can change is don't shove a guy 20 feet from the basket. That's just a dumb foul.
Yeah.
That's just it's a dumb foul. There's no reason for you to do it, you know? So, but other than that, like, he's a really, really good player. I mean, I do think he was on one of the 3 all-league teams, was he not, this year? Like,
yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Know, so,
I voted for him.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like that says he's one of the 15 best players in this league, and that's pretty accurate. So again,
yes,
everybody's not perfect, you know, and ideally he would be able to help Brunson a little bit more. Ideally, Brunson would be a little bigger, a little stouter. I mean, they had him face guarding, you know, Halliburton in Game 5, you know, and it slowed Halliburton down a little bit, you know, but there's only so many tricks you can come up with. Like, at some point you got to guard the guy, and that's the whole NBA is who do you guard? Who do you guard? I got to put you on somebody. What can you guard?
Right.
You know, and so that I don't know that that's fixable with the Knicks, but what is fixable is Karl not getting a 4th foul early in the 3rd quarter, not getting a 3rd foul midway through the 2nd quarter because he did something that he really doesn't need to do defensively. Just play, you know, like, and I know it's a cliche and it sounds easy, but he's got to be on the floor for his team to have the best chance to win. He can't be sitting on the bench in foul trouble, which happens a lot with him.
Yeah, no, and here's the last thing before we go and wind up talking about the finals. The thing that, it's 2 things. One, Mikal Bridges did not cover himself in glory at all in these playoffs. He looked like the guy to me that if there's contact, he's going in the opposite way. I saw that man look a layup directly in the face and turn and pivot and take a jump shot. I have never seen something like that before. And I wonder the price tag, all the 1st-round picks, the Villanova boys and everything else, if people were blinded by the numbers that he put up in Brooklyn when he was the main offensive option, that they didn't look at this guy and say, hey, does this guy actually fit in with what we do? Remember, he was the guy to say, hey, man, we're playing too many minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was more telling, I think, than anything on the court. You know, I thought he was, you know, he didn't have a great series. I don't think he had a horrible series, but he did not have a great series. Like, you know, that's fair. You know, and if you're looking at it through the prism of the picks, you would say that was not what you expected. But I'm not sure what people expected from Mikal Bridges. Like he's not going to a team where he's going to be the 1st option. He's going to a team where now, when they traded for him, you may have thought he was the 2nd option, but clearly after they bring in KAT, he's the 3rd option. And some nights he may be the 4th option if OG's feeling it offensively, you know, like, so that's what you traded for. I mean, that's who he is. So he didn't have a great series. You know, I don't think that's why they lost the series, but it would have been helpful if he had a better series. I grant you that for sure. That would have shrunk the margin a little bit.
Absolutely, and they never got in front of the series again after they lost Game 1. Like, that's where this Game 1 and Game 2 they could have.
It's hard to come back from. It's hard to come back mentally from losing like that in the playoffs. Absolutely. Because you put so much into it, and you for 45 minutes have been the better team. You know, and then you just completely let go of the rope, and that's hard to come back from. I don't care who you are. Like, that's hard to come back from.
It's a crusher.
Yeah. So I thought after that game, and I think I put that on Twitter like this, I don't know that they're going to come back from this. Now, they showed some heart. You know, they didn't get swept, but yeah, that's tough to come back from.